Showtime! Oh man, super excited for this one. Even spent all the time organizing in piles here. It's kind of a bit unconventional though. We have no like box or things to sleeve up. Everything's already prepared for us. It's also kind of convenient too. But before we get underway, big shout out to Blue Eyes Guy 5 on Instagram. Huge supporter of the channel, always been sending in cards to us over the past year. He's done huge favor in getting a lot of deck profiles fully done and completed, including all the cards we're going to feature today, which are going to go into a ton more, or at least a couple binder pages. So just to kind of break down how this is going, we're going to start from bottom to top, left to right. So we'll start here and then eventually work our way over to here with our quarter century secret rares. So without further delay or any more dilly-dallying, let's start on pile number 1. Some of the Armor XCs cards. Not really sure where I'm going to fit these into, but they are kind of cool. They are pretty easy to kind of just rank up into. All you need is 2 level 3s to kind of get the full like chain and combo started. So stuff like Tour Guide of the Underworld or Speedroid Terror Top and Take Tomborg, you can really get a lot of your combos going from there. Starting off, we have XC's Armor Torpedo. Get to attach 2 materials from it to draw a card. They also have some equip functions as well if they're equipped to other monsters, so that is really nice. Definitely enjoy just sort of the art style of this. Kind of looks Utopia-ish, or kind of like some of the Code Talker monsters, but definitely going to see where I can splash that into. Splash. Up next, we have 3 copies of XC's Armor Fortress. It's basically the rank 5 version. What's cool is they can also rank up using a rank 3 or 4 in Armor Fortress's case. And in case of some of the bigger ones, you can just use like 5 or 6. So they kind of can just bump up into each other, which is nice. But they do have some of their restrictions for like summoning or being used as material. So it can't be used as XC's material while it has XC's summon while it has material. So you can just attach to get its search off to grab an Armor XC's card with different name from deck to hand equal to the number of materials you detached. Along with the summoning condition. Plus Armor Torpedo just attaches to for a draw 1, so you can get rid of its materials, rank up into this guy, detach 1 more for a search, and then you can rank up into full armored Dark Knight Lancer. So it's like a Silent Honor Dark and a full armored XC's card kind of put in together. You can also XC summon it by using a rank 5 or 6. Transfer its materials, gains 300 for each material. For each equip card it has. Once per turn, target an XC's card in your graveyard, add to the hand. Once per turn, if an equipped card becomes equipped to a monster you control, attach 1 monster your opponent controls to this card's material. So honestly, with like 3 extra deck spots and a few like Armored XC's cards, you can really get a lot of like equips going, rank ups, and basically just end on this guy with a few other equips running around, which stuff like Armor Torpedo does have some equip effects. Equip monster battles until the end of the damage step. Opponent can activate cards or effects and negate the effects of all face-up monsters. Equip monsters and XC's monster. Your opponent cannot target it with card effects. And then the Armor Fortress for its equip. If a monster equipped with this card battles a monster, double the battle damage it inflicts to your opponent, which is really powerful. So if you're equipping a bunch of stuff, you can really turn like full armored into basically just a boss monster, which is really nice. So might experiment with that with a few like rank 3 decks as well. Up next, we have a little bit of a Snake Eyes package here, but also a few Sinful Spoil cards. They kind of go hand in hand. So we'll start off with Sinful Spoils of Betrayal, Silvera. Send a Diabellstar monster from hand or field to the graveyard to target face-up card on the field negates effects. Banish it from the graveyard to negate that opponent's effect as well. Pretty impressive. 3 copies of Snake Eyes Birch. Control a fire monster, special element from the hand. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, send 2 face-up cards you control, including this card to the graveyard. Special summon a Snake Eyes from hand or deck, except itself. So you're probably going into the Flame Birds, like the big dragon, which is really nice. Kind of similar thing with Snake Eye Oak. It's probably my favorite out of all the Snake Eye cards. I think he just looks super cool. Normal or special summon, target a level 5 fire monster, banished in the graveyard. Add to the hand or special summon it, and then you get to send 2 face-up cards for that Snake Eye special summon. So Oak is really nice for recovery or just getting stuff back in the hand if you need it. And then finally, Divine Temple of the Snake Eye. It's activated, place a Snake Eye monster from hand, deck, or graveyard face up in the owner's spell and trap zone. It's a continuous spell. Level 1 fire monsters gain 1100 attack, which is kind of nice. Kind of like a wetlands beatdown situation. Once per turn, if opponent normal or special summons a monster, target a monster card on the field, treat as a continuous spell, special summon it. So that card you special summon doesn't even need to be a Snake Eye or a fire monster. So if you like put Diabell Star into the spell and trap zone as a continuous spell, you can also just grab her. Very nice there. Up next we have the Supreme Gate and Pendulum core we got. Starting with 3 copies of the new Magician, Supreme King Gate Magician. Supreme King Zark control cannot be banished by your opponent's card effects, which is nice. I think by themselves they can't even be destroyed by card effects, so this is just like additional protection just to help them out. During the main phase, destroy this card. If you do, place a Supreme Gate Pendulum monster from your hand or deck in the Pendulum Zone, except obviously a copy of itself. And then if you have a Supreme King Gate card in the Pendulum Zone, except itself, send a Pendulum Dragon, Xyz Dragon, Synchro Dragon, or Fusion Dragon from hand or extra deck to the graveyard, and then special summon this card from the hand. Special summon, add a card that mentions Supreme King Zark from deck to hand, except a spellcaster monster. This guy's just super cool. It kind of looks like Astrograph, with like different armor and such. Just really like the design of him. Especially cool with the original Astrograph Sorcerer. Exceed the Pendulum. So it's kind of funny that Beyond the Pendulum now has a Link 3 variant. Both cards are super affordable now, so it definitely helps out with filling out the extra deck for any of your like Pendulum Magician stuff. 2 effect monsters, including a Pendulum. Gains 100 attack for each Pendulum monster you control. Each effect once per turn. If it's Link summoned, add a face-up Pendulum monster from extra deck to hand. During the main phase, quick effect, special summon a Pendulum monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position with a level between the pendulum scales of the cards in your Pendulum Zone. This thing's just great. Just add stuff back from extra deck. Special summon from hand or graveyard as well. Just helps continue out your plays. And then finally, 3 copies of Odd Eyes Arc Ray Dragon. It's also treated as Supreme King Zark. Similar to Supreme King Zark, it has 4 dragon monsters as material, a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and Pendulum. Its face down card in the extra deck must first be Fusion summoned or special summoned by attributing a level 12 Supreme King Zark. This card is special summoned from the extra deck. You can place 1 Pendulum monster from your deck in the Pendulum Zone. And similar to the original Zark, it goes into the Pendulum Zone when it's destroyed. If you have 2 cards in your Pendulum Zone, special summon this card, then apply this effect, shuffle a card in your Pendulum into the deck, and then if it was added to the extra deck, special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. I just really like the design of this. This is just such a super cool looking card. Definitely interested in building like a Supreme King Zark focused deck, so definitely gonna have to add a copy or 2 of that. What's going on, Jason? Yes, that is one of the decks that is being built out is Pendulum Magician, so this is basically just helping out get a bunch of like parts of the deck core assembled, but also just kind of getting us in preparation to go for like a Supreme King Zark focused build as well, so kind of like a 2-for-1 deal in that regard. So this next one will be a little bit bigger of one of our cores. This actually helps out get a jump start in a pretty cool deck, so stay tuned for when this gets fully built out, but we're also going into Chimera Fusion. Instead of going the branded route, I'll focus mostly on just the Illusion and Chimera stuff, just to kind of showcase that, so that'll be a ton of fun to go into, but let's jump into some of this stuff, like their quick play fusion spell, Chimera Fusion. During the main phase, fusion summon a fusion monster from the extra deck using monsters from hand or field as material. This one includes a beast or fiend monster. During the main phase, if this card is in the graveyard and you have Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast on the field or in your graveyard, you can either add it to the hand or banish it to special summon both 1 Gazelle and Baphomet from deck and or graveyard. Obviously, you'll pretty much go for the adding back to the hand, but sometimes the special summon from the deck does come in handy. Starting off, one of my favorite illusion monsters, just because it looks really cool. Mirror Sword Knight. Like all illusions, if battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. Quick effect, tributed to special summon a monster from deck that mentions Chimera Fusion, except obviously Sword Knight. When a monster your opponent controls activates effect while you control Chimera, banish it from the graveyard to negate that effect. So it's got like nice little negation, tributed to grab something from deck. Always love seeing that. Next, we got 3 copies of Big Wing Baphomet doing the John Cena pose. Big thanks to Lestat for figuring that one out. It made sense once he told me, but I'm kind of sad I didn't figure that out sooner. If it's normal or special summon, add a level 4 Beast Monster and or Chimera Fusion from deck to hand. And then we get locked into fusions from the extra deck. If it's sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, target an illusion monster in the graveyard and special summon it. Bit of a higher level, but it's not too hard to get it out on the field. Especially the fact that you can just grab like Beasts, Chimera Fusions, and also float into just illusions. So that's really nice. 3 copies of Gazelle, the King of Mythical Claws. If it's normal or special summoned, add a level 5 Fiend or Chimera Fusion from deck to hand. So what's kind of cool about Baphomet and Gazelle is they kind of just play off each other with their searches, or just grabbing Chimera Fusion if they're both present. If it's sent to the graveyard as material for a fusion summon, add an illusion monster from deck to hand. So it's also a searcher, whereas Baphomet is your recovery card. Definitely enjoy those two for sure. Probably my favorite out of the new Chimera Fusions is Chimera the Illusion Beast. It's our illusion type card. Requires Chimera plus 1 or more illusion monsters. Like all the other new fusions, its name becomes Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast while in the field or in the graveyard. Can attack a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of materials. If it battles, neither monster is destroyed by that battle, which kind of makes you think, well, why would you want to attack multiple times? Well, here's the fun part. At the end of the damage step, if it battles an opponent's monster, change that monster's attack to 0, also negates effects. So ideally, you would crash into something, no one would be destroyed, turn its effects off, turn its attack to 0, and then slam into it again repeatedly. Which is especially nice if you're going into some other illusion monsters. You can really rack up some damage there. Jason asks, are you having a good week? I am. Got a bunch of cards to showcase. Hope the same for you. Both in the card loot, but also in the good week. Don't want to single out any of adventures you may or may not have had. We also have Baphomet, the mythical king of phantom beasts. Kind of cool to see like Gazelle, Chimera. Like everyone's getting their own fusion variant now. Everyone's a part of the Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast show. 2 monsters with different types, Beast, Fiend, or Illusion. Gets the name change while in the field or in the graveyard. If it's fusion summoned, send a Beast, Fiend, or Illusion from deck to graveyard during your opponent's turn. Quick effect, banish this card from the graveyard to target one of your banished Fiend, Beast, or Illusion monsters. Special summon it. This one's just a nice way to, again, get more recovery, get a little bit of interruption as well. So if you do end up getting like something such as Chimera the Illusion banished, you can just get it back out onto the field. Won't get its multi-attacking though, but it is a 3100 attack. You can basically just drop on your opponent suddenly. Nice little illusion jump scare, if you will. All right, diving into our next pile here. We're into the top row. We should probably slide everything down here. Getting towards the home stretch here, but this will be our miscellaneous pile. Not really tied to any specific decks. It's just shiny cards I was looking for, things I can splash in, such as Darkhold Dragon. Kind of cool to see that Darkhold is getting support. I kind of like this, like old school spells or traps getting like searchable now with like special monsters to them. Kind of hoping we get like a Magic Cylinder card. Could be an illusion for all we know. Or at least something like that. I just like Magic Cylinder. Can't be destroyed by card effects. I would hope so. Considering you're going to search Darkhold with this. Once per turn, if a monster on the field is destroyed by a card effect that doesn't target it, special summon it. And if it's special summoned, activate this effect during the end phase, add a Darkhold from deck to hand. This is basically just any sort of like Raigeki, Lightning Vortex, Darkhold even. It's not once per turn. Get this guy out on the field. Can't be destroyed by card effects, so very nice there. Kind of like Arch Nemesis Protoss, where it's like, I can just pop dark monsters, but I won't be destroyed by that, which is super nice. And then you get your Dark Hole Search, which isn't a bad idea. I've been thinking about teching that into like Fire Kings or Snake Eyes, just kind of get some effect destruction triggered, or even like YuGiOh. I could see Dark Hole being super nice there if you want to float into like a YuGiOh variant. 3 copies of Synchro Rumble. This just kind of help out any sort of synchro focused decks, which we seem to be building a lot lately. So definitely want to grab this. Target a tuner or a level 7 or 8 dragon synchro monster in the graveyard, special summon in defense position. Get locked into synchros from the extra deck. Level 7 or 8 dragon synchro monster or Crimson Dragon would be destroyed by battle or card effect. Banish Synchro Rumble from the graveyard instead. Very nice. Very helpful. Up next, we have 3 copies of Vanquished Soul Xiao Long. If you reveal a card in your hand to activate a Vanquished Soul card or effect, special summon it from the hand. And similar to Vanquished Souls, at quick effect speed, you get to activate certain attributes to get effects off. 1 fire monster, change the battle position of a monster on the field. 2 fire monsters, add a Vanquished Soul card from deck to hand, except Xiao Long. So this one's kind of nice, similar to Ryzen with the search going off. And pretty easy special summon as you just got to start revealing due to Vanquished Soul cards, and then you get yourself basically a free monster. Where's Whitehole Dragon? Oh, that's a good point. That'd be kind of a interesting like little lore thing where Dark Hole and Whitehole Dragon face off. Obviously Whitehole's like a super obscure trap, but I guess if Dark Hole really takes off in the meta, that wouldn't be too much of a big stretch to have as a card. Like a Griffin's Feather Duster Searcher in the case of like Harpy's Feather Duster. It'd be kind of cool. Up next we have Red Eye's Black Meteor Dragon. Set a level 5 or higher normal monster from hand or deck to the graveyard to special summon it from the hand. Increase its level by 1. So basically this becomes a level 6 just for some of the Red Eye fusions, but also when it's special summon it becomes a level 7. Just to kind of help with some of the other fusions, or just so you can make like rank 7s. Such as the, Flare Metal Dragon, the Xyz monster. During the main phase, except turn this card was sent to the graveyard, banish it to add a Red Eyes fusion from deck or graveyard to hand. And searches out the fusion, which is very nice. Not sure if I'll make into a Red Eyes deck, but definitely going to include that if I do go that route. Week is good. I actually got cards coming in, I think, later this week, if not next week. Nice! What kind of cards you were searching for there? Any specific like archetypes or decks, or just trying to fill out the collection? Let us know, Jason. Next up, we have the Manadium Core. This got a lot. This is very helpful for me. We did actually have a lot of Manadium stuff sent in prior, as you may remember from Blue Eyes Guy. So this is just sort of a second round, fleshing out more of the Visas related cards, or just some of the other like extra deck stuff I'm missing. So starting off, we have 3 copies of Visas Samsara. This is basically like some of the Heart monsters, but it's basically just for Visas Starfrost specifically. Speaking of which, becomes Visas Starfrost while in the field or in the graveyard. Target any of a number of Visas monsters that are banished or in the graveyard. Shuffle them into the deck, special summon from the hand. Gains 400 attack for each shuffled with a different original name. And if it would be used as synchro material, you can also treat it as a non-tuner. So nice, pretty great special summoning condition, just recovering stuff. Attack boost is probably not the main focal point, but if you do want to get some extra damage, that is kind of nice. And then just use them in main phase 2, but he also gets treated himself as a non-tuner, as a lot of Visas and Manadium stuff is tuner related, so having that ability to just turn him off and then use him with like Trisukta to make Baron de Flor is really nice. Up next, we have 3 copies of the man himself. The man with the pointy, shiny arm, Visa Starfrost. If it's in your hand, target a monster you control with a different type and attribute than Visa Starfrost, destroy it, and then you get to special summon him. When it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, gain attack equal to half the original attack or defense of that monster, whichever is higher. Again, not really using the attack or battle focus stuff, but easy special summoning condition, pretty cool card. He just looks really awesome as well. So he's definitely, I'm using 2 copies. I know it's like between 1 or 2 copies you usually run in the deck, but I just kind of threw in 2 just in my Manadium deck, so definitely going to showcase him quite a bit. Moving on to the extra deck, we got Manadium Trisukta. Requires a tuner and a non-tuner monster, so a little bit of generic, which is nice. It's also a level 6 synchro tuner, which is also good. If it's synchro summoned, target a level 2 tuner in the graveyard, special summon it, negates effects. Target any number of tuners you control, change their levels to 2, and then you get locked into Synchros. So this just helps you prep for Prime Heart, just to get him going with multiple tuners to get multiple attacks. Plus, she just also helps you synchro climb into something like Amritara or any of the other cards or synchro cards you're running in your little toolbox. Up next, we have Manadium Torrid. I'm using Meek for my deck profile, but I do like Torrid. A little tiny guy in the little globe. I kind of like that, the little orbs where it's got like little people and their little planets. Control Visa Starfrost or a monster with, obviously, the heart stats, 1500 attack, 2100 defense, special summon them from the hand. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect, special summon a Manadium Tuner from deck. I think I like using Meek because he has the level changing, but he also just special summons himself from deck. But this one kind of gives you a little bit of variety, and you can just go into any other tuner. I think, yeah, it doesn't exclude himself, so you could just go into another Torrid. Not sure why, but you could. I like Meek because he changes level. That's just me. Speaking of Amritara, we have one copy of Visas Amritara. Requires a tuner and one or more tuners and one light monster. Comes Visa Starfrost, but only on the field. If this card is synchro summoned, add a spell or trap that mentions Visa Starfrost from deck to hand during the main phase, destroy monster control, and give all synchro monsters you control 800 attack this turn. Nice. We also have 3 copies of New World Amritara, or Amritara. I just like that it has all the little, all the world cards. Really like this background. It reminds me of like Super Mario Galaxy. We're visiting different like galaxies and planets. Activate only while Visa Starfrost is on the field. Once returned from monster control, destroyed by battle or card effects, sent to the graveyard, or banished. Activate one of these effects. Special summon one of those monsters in defense position. One tuner on the field gains attack equal to half the original attack of that monster. Shuffle one of those monsters in the deck, draw a card. Shuffle this card into the deck, add a field spell from graveyard to hand. So this kind of helps recover some of your like specific phobia planets, or I think only 2 of them. One of them is Reich Phobia is the Scareclaw one, but it basically just searches for any of your like Visa Starfrost field spells, recovers them, special summons destroyed tuners, which is nice, especially if you're going the Manadium route where you're just blowing up your own stuff, special summoning others, and then you can just get it straight back, which is hilarious. Oh, but that's the Manadium core. That one will definitely, I'll place it over here, along with the. Wait, am I putting these on the wrong pile? There we go. I kind of am. I gotta organize these a bit. Put you over here, and then kind of all the miscellaneous stuff will go right here. Some cards I needed for casual Skull Servant deck. 1 lady, 1 prince, and 1 mare. Forgot the last one. White Baking, I think, was one of them. That one's my favorite. I just like how happy he is with his little stakes. Stakes as in meat, not as stakes as in the vampire killing kind. Although it could be. I don't know if Skull Servants have a grudge against vampires. That's nice, Jason. Definitely interested to see how that deck turns out once it's complete. I do enjoy a good Skull Servant deck. That's such a wild time back when grass looks greener was super big. Just watching like King of the Skull Servant hit 10,000 attack and just start beating down on everyone. Plus, it's a level 1 monster, so if you're like me, you ran Optic Camouflage armor for your Mech Lord Emperors as well. That's a fun way to just direct attack and cause even more mischief. Hi, Violet. All right. Second to last little care package of the day. This one's a big one, too. This one I've been definitely prepping for a while, but this inches us a bit closer. The problem is a lot of the cards in this archetype are from different sets, so this will take a bit longer just to kind of collect everything and gather, but I'll get some of my sellers on this just to kind of help search everything out, or I'll just hit a TCG player later. But we got a Tech Gene, or TG little core right here. Just kind of jumps around through all the miscellaneous new support they got from Age of Overlord. Starting with Mighty Striker. Nice little level 2 tuner synchro. You can also do Recipro Dragonfly if you want to go into the like I do, where you untune Blade. Was it Blade Blaster? Blaster Blade is a card fight Vanguard, but Blade Blaster is the Yu-Gi-Oh card. That's confusing. That's very easy to follow, you know. But if you want to make Halberd Cannon or Glaive Blaster, Recipro Dragonfly is the way I usually go. But this is also good if you just have 2 level 5 synchros and you just need a tuner synchro. Mighty Striker is the way to go. Once per turn during the opponent's main phase, kind of like an IP Masquerena, you get to just basically do an extra deck summon. This one's for synchros. Synchro summon using this card you control. And if it's synchro summoned, add a Tech Genius spell or trap from deck to hand. If it's sent from the monster zone to the graveyard, send a Tech Genius card from deck to graveyard. So it's got everything. It's got IP Masquerena, synchro speed. You can search your spells and traps, and Foolish Burial, which is especially great for stuff like Screw Serpent, which is an absolute staple in the deck, just to recover like those monsters you got. Or you can send their counter trap, which can just immediately reset itself. Love to see how you play Tech Genius. I'm going pure. Not really experimenting without too many archetypes, but a lot of the test hands just end me on an Excel Synchro or like a level 10, and then just gear up next turn for more stuff. But I have ended on like a Halberd Cannon for fun, which is very cool. Or at least like a multi-targeting Glaive Blaster, which is very nice. It might actually be White Baking. See, I remember all the food-based ones. I remember all the obscure Skull Servant cards like White Baking. White Baking's just great in general. It's just, as you can tell, a very fun card. Next up, we have the continuous spell, Tech Genius All Clear. Not really sure what brought this about, but all Tech Genius support now requires that they become machine monsters. I don't know why. I feel like you could have just done the Dragoonity route where it's like, hey, do you have a Tech Genius Synchro? Okay, cool. Now we can do this stuff. But, I mean, I'm not one to judge. This kind of just mitigates the problem by making everything that's a Tech Genius on the field become a machine. Also, more importantly, you get to have an additional normal summon of a Tech Genius in addition to your normal summoner set. During the main phase, destroy a Tech Genius monster from your hand or field. Add a Tech Genius monster with a different name from deck or graveyard to hand. What's cool is basically this kind of mitigates one of the bigger downsides of Tech Genius and modern stuff is they need to be destroyed, which, considering stuff like Dark Hole, Raigeki, Lightning Storm is always floating about, that's not the end of the world. But this just kind of helps mitigates it while also giving you additional searching. So Tech Genius All Clear, definite 3 of, helps activate and get all online all your new support that requires machine Tech Genius. Gives you that normal summon, destroys for a search, which on end phase, your other Tech Genius cards would begin their searching. So it basically acts as like a delayed double search. But it has to be a different name from deck or graveyard to hand. But that's not the end of the world, really. We'll be doing plenty of searching as is. Up next, one of their new synchros, along with Mighty Striker. Over Dragonar requires a tuner and a non-tuner monster. Synchro summon, special summon any number of Tech Genius from the graveyard. You get locked into Tech Genius monsters for the rest of the turn. Just special summoning in general, so not even like extra deck restrictions. You also go main deck, which is cool because you can also do like Trident Launcher for their link, but I'm pretty much running like a pure synchro build, so I don't even really think I have the space to use it, but it's definitely something we can experiment with down the road. And if it on the field is destroyed, draw a card. So this one's just nice, again, getting some of that draw power. Basically, you just go into your synchros, go into Dragonar last, get all of your, or any sort of number of Tech Genius from the graveyard back onto the field. Tuners, non-tuners, anything as long as it's a Tech Genius, and then continue your plays from there. So you can really climb into some cool stuff, like making multiple Halberd Cannons or like big synchros ready to go. Especially great if you have Hyper Librarian there to just witness that. That's just so many draws, so many cards, so much is happening. Tech Genius is fun. Speaking of more fun, we got 3 copies of Rocket Salamander. It's a level 1 Pyro, so if you do have the ability to afford your bonfires, this is the one to search for. Or also you can do like I am and just go for 1, which is cheaper. Get to tribute a Tech Genius monster, including itself. Special summon a Tech Genius monster from deck with a different original name. Then tribute a monster. Control machine Tech Genius monster. Target a level 4 or lower Tech Genius in the graveyard. Special summon it, but negates effects. Each effect is a hard once per turn. So basically what you would do if you don't have any like the machine graveyard setup or anything else. Normal summon it. Tribute it, special summon Screw Serpent. Screw Serpent would grab it back. Go into Dragonar. Dragonar would grab both of them back once again. And then immediately go into something like Wonder Magician. Tune both of those. Go into Blade Blaster. Or Shooting Star TGEX if you want to get that monster negate going. But yeah, that's off of just one card and one normal summon. You've got all the shenanigans going, which is great if you have all clear as well. Get an additional summon, or if you have something such as limited removal, give yourself a double search. Discard a card to add 2 TG different named monsters from deck to hand. Yeah, that's kind of wild, a double search right there. And graveyard setup. Banish it from the graveyard to target a tech genius in the graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, or if you control a machine, add it to the hand instead. You only use 1 limiter effect per turn, and only once that turn. So basically, pitch a card, any card, preferably a tech genius monster so you can get the recovery with Over Dragonar. Get your search off. Basically with stuff like Screw Serpent and something else, like maybe Warwolf. Summon Screw Serpent, revive whatever card you pitched. Warwolf triggers, special summons itself, or something like Gear Zombie. Just any card, really, that can also get you a special summon. This guy just helps fill out the field. Go into your Over Dragonar. You've probably figured out what happens here. Get your revivals, start your climbing, and go nuts from there. But limit removal is just awesome. It's an absolute 3 of. Not many archetypes have that, like double searching. I know our Sarctics have that just because that's part of their gimmick is to just start tributing stuff, but that's just fantastic. Combined with like radiation, you get so much advantage from that. Like drawing cards, searching cards. Or Sarctics even have like special summon cards, like they have their own Screw Serpent, so you can just recover whatever Sarctics you get rid of too. And then finally, Tech Genius Glaive Blaster. Basically like a new Halberd Cannon. Standard Excel Synchro, 1 tuner Synchro, 2 or more non-tuner Synchros. Must be Synchro Summoned, quick effect. Target monster on the field, special summon from the extra deck, banish it. Uses effect equal to the number of times per turn, up to the number of non-tuner Synchros. Uses material, so you get to do it at least twice, which is super nice. Twice a target banish is pretty awesome per turn, and that's just the bare minimum. Once per turn, if a monster is banished face up, except the damage step, target one of them, special summon to your field, ignoring summoning conditions. So if you just banish one of your big opponent's boss monsters, you can just snipe it then too, and then get even more damage. Honestly, you don't even need to include like regular limiter removal for the machines. You can just basically make Glaive Blaster, banish something, snatch it, go in for the attack. So this is absolutely something you want to commit to. Halberd Cannon is also pretty cool, but honestly, Glaive Blaster is where it's at from now on. White Princess fun to use with its hand effect. Yeah, it's nice that White Princess has that hand effect as well. Kind of like that. Plus, you can also just splash in just any sort of generic stuffs, like zombie support for your excuse me, not just the white deck, but like the Skull Servant. So stuff like Ash Blossom becomes fun to use because everyone's just going to the grave regardless, so you can just get them all back anyway. All right, woo! That pretty much covers the majority of the ground for all of our cards, but we'll end on the 2 quarter-century secret rares we got. Yes, not 1, but 2 that we acquired. So these will pretty much be going into the binder collection, but one of them does have to go into one of the decks. Obviously, we'll find out in a little bit what they are, so drum roll, please. All right, that's enough drum roll for now. Starting with number 1, we have Manadium Trusupta, quarter-century secret rare. Get her out of her sleeve and fully show her off. That's just fantastic. That looks super cool. Super cheap, too. Like, a lot of the quarter-century secret rares are just really affordable now. Even if you want to get a quarter-century secret rare of limiter removal, it's about, like, between 12 to 15 bucks. So, probably 50 with shipping. You get a playset of quarter-century secret rares, which is pretty awesome to have if you're going, like, full rarity on some decks. And just all the Tech Genius stuff in general is super cheap. I think a Rocket Salamander at one point was $7, but he's really dropped to around like 2 or less. I think it'd be hard pressed to find something over like $2.50. So everything's super affordable if you do want to go the Tech Genius route, or just want to splash and show off some of the more shinier blinged out cards. This one's definitely going into the binder collection just because we have the 2 secrets we need, but this next one we'll be throwing into the deck as we only have 1 copy of it so far for the deck in question, and that is a quarter-century secret rare, Visas Amritera. Amritara? It's a Visas Starfrost card. That's all I know. See, Starfrost is easy to pronounce. I don't know all this space stuff, but it does look super cool because instead of his giant gauntlet, now he also has an awesome sword. And he just looks really awesome. Level 8 Warrior Tuner, or Synchro Tuner. This one's just really awesome. I'm definitely splashing this into the deck just because I only have one at the moment. Plus, it just looks really cool. Absolutely stoked about this. And stunned, too. Didn't imagine I'd get 2 more quarter-century secret rares on the top of, what, like 4 deck cores and a ton of other miscellaneous stuff. Like, we got cards for the Vanquish Soul deck. Definitely going to do something with all these Armor Xyz cards. Got a bunch of a Snake Eye core going on here. Not sure what I'll do with that. Oh yeah, we got stuff for the Pendulum Magicians. Forgot to get Wings of Light, so I'll get that separately, but that was on me. I forgot to ask for that. I forgot about the quick play spell. Damn it. No, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's just me forgetting about some of the stuff. I also forgot to ask about the new Infernoble stuff, so I really dropped the ball there, but I'll reach out to Blue Eyes Guy in the background, and worst case, we just do another live stream where it's like, hey, look at all the other stuff. But I'll definitely talk to him about getting some Yubel support, getting some Infernoble stuff, but also getting Wings of Light, because, again, it's needed for Pendulum Magicians. And if we do go the Zark route, I might need to grab 2 playsets in that case. But that pretty much sums it up and recaps everything for today's full mail day stream. Got a lot of deck cores here. Got a lot of miscellaneous like bonus cards. So all of these will be getting some of their sleeves changed out or just put into their respective deck boxes. Get all set. And then, those are some good looking Synchro monsters. Yeah, they really are. We seem to have a lot of Synchro theme going on today. A little bit of a Xyz and Link, but for the most part, we're going Synchro today. But I'll get all this sort of sleeved up and put into the binders. But if you want to see like a full recap of everything, you don't want to sit through the full stream, we'll be posting that to Instagram, SirBlackson97. So be sure to check that out, along with some of the other stuff we do that isn't exclusive just to YouTube. But in any case, that'll do it for today's mail day stream. Big thanks again to Blue Eyes Guy 5. He's been helping out a ton of decks. I realize it's now like at least 6 decks he's helped play a role in completing or getting cards for, because I forgot the Chimera Fusion. So I'll have to get a full like tier list going of all the decks he's helped build, but this will be a ton of fun to get these all close to completion. A lot of profiles coming up on the horizon. Next weekend, we'll be returning to deck profiles. Now that work's kind of died down a bit, we'll be doing Gold Pride. So rev up your Wacky Races engines as we're going into some of the Gold Pride cards. We'll also be doing a few more box breaks as well. Not sure what I'll be doing for like Yu-Gi-Oh content, but I'll definitely post something out on Instagram throughout the week, but also on YouTube on the community page. So big thanks to everyone for joining in. If you want to see a full recap, that'll be on